And following that great lead-in video from our highlight package from the IMG White game on Friday night, it is our Tuesday night podcast for tonight. I'm John Mussone here with Venice Indian head football coach John Peacock. And Coach, might as well start right there with the game on Friday night. IMG White came in, and a lot of people get a little confused about, the white, the blue, the national team. But this is basically what we would consider their varsity football team. The national team being a whole other different entity altogether, and then the blue team is probably more inclined with it being a smaller classification school.
Yeah, and just to think about that, how hard it is to get your team to think, hey, we're going to have a tough game Friday night because this team is a pretty good football team after playing the national team. With
the same jerseys and the same everything.
That was a hard sell. And it's hard to sell them, but, I think everyone that was at the game and saw them realize that they're a good football team.
Yeah.
They're not a bad football team. And I kept telling everybody, they're not a bad football team. They're going to be big up. They're big up front.
Yeah.
They had I thought the quarterback did a great job. He ran the ball extremely hard. He ran the ball.
He did.
And their running back, I thought he was probably 220-pound running back.
They had probably I would say 6 or 7 Division I guys. I would think.
Yeah, big receiver.
The tight end was real good. He was a good athlete. They had the D tackle for Lele. His brother plays in the NFL for the Bengals.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was his brother.
That was his brother. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So he was on there, but so you got guys that are going to play on Saturdays there. So it's not. You're not looking at and these kids.
They were a high school football, a good high school football team.
Right.
Not a bad high school, but a good high school football team. But that's a hard sell. I don't think our kids believe me.
Right.
And then I think it showed in the first half when it's 14-9 at half, and we're starting terrible like we have been since really since we started the season. I mean, even you go back. I talked earlier about going back to another game, but you can go back to Miami Northwestern where
slow starts.
With 2 touchdowns called back in the first half, which ended up being a huge difference in the game. And we fumbled twice on the inside the 10 in the first half.
Right.
So those 4 touchdowns. So.
And
we got to fix it. We're going to fix it.
And it's not one person or one side of the ball.
No.
The defense has one. Then there could be it's just as simple as you're second and 4, and then somebody jumps, and you're second and 9, and it takes you out of your phase, and you had to change the play. So it's like that little bit of stuff that's kind of with maybe there's the momentum. You don't get that rock rolling uphill yet.
Yeah, I think I thought earlier in the season it had a lot to do with us being as young as we were. I mean, no seniors on the offensive line. No, only senior in the backfield was being Brooks. And
he was learning on the go.
And everyone's a first-year starter besides Keon Sears, who didn't even play in the Miami Northwestern game. So there was not one starter on the field, to start the season off week 1. So, I think we've grown a lot, but we need to learn how to start the game. That's one thing we focused on this week. We're focusing on the red zone offense and red zone defense. And it's not just the offense. The defense doesn't play very well either.
No, whoever's on the field first seems to get a slow start.
The defense comes out and lets them score, and then we start playing football.
Right.
And then it's almost like I would love to see the stat line of the points we've given up first quarter compared to the points we've given up second, third, and fourth quarter.
I'd say second and third for sure, because I would almost guarantee you it's double or triple the amount of points you give up in the second quarter.
No doubt.
Easily that much.
No doubt.
Because even like when we played Riverview, they had 14 points in the first quarter, and then they didn't score again until the block punt later in the game.
Riverview 14, Seminole 14, IMG White 7, Sarasota.
Northwestern also had points in the
was Sarasota 7?
Yeah,
or 14.
They got lead at a 7-point lead.
But I think if you look at quarter 2, 3, and 4, it's a huge difference.
And done in all different ways. It could be a fumble, it could be a busted coverage, it could be a lot of different things, or a long run. So it's sort of a.
And then I guarantee you look at our production in the first quarter compared to the rest. It's night and day.
Even with production, you're all going as far as say just the amount of plays that we run from the second quarter to the first quarter. Sometimes we get through and you're like, my gosh, then we ran like 9 plays, and then sometimes it can get in the second quarter you ran 30. It's just that much different. I know it's possessions are what they are, but those 30 plays are. I mean, that's when the wearing out process starts for a lot of teams.
I bet you even look at our punt average in the first quarter.
Terrible.
I bet it's terrible compared to
Right.
it is the rest of the game.
Absolutely right.
Bottom line is we're bad in the first quarter.
Well,
and we got to fix it.
Right, and I think that's paying attention to what's going on and coming out ready to go. You know what I mean? Have that sort of
Right.
that instinct.
Well, it's always on the coaches. It's not, the players are going to do what they're coached to do. You know, so I mean, I'm not sitting here saying it's on the players. I mean, it's on us. I mean, it's on us as coaches. We have to figure out why we start that way and fix it.
Right.
Is it we calling we're getting too much deep into the playbook early on, or what are we doing? And I think the first play this past week, Alvin had about a 20-yard run.
Looked fantastic.
Yeah,
That was
got
a
called
great
back.
play. Yeah.
Holding call right away. I think at Naples we started off with a penalty first play of the game.
Yeah.
And then I want to say probably our best. Then we go down and score against Sarasota the first series. Or no?
Was it Riverview or was it Sarasota?
Maybe it was Riverview.
I think it was Riverview. We did come down and score right away.
Yeah, I think Riverview and Sarasota.
Yeah. And but you're right. And even like the one game when we played, when you had the long pass play as your first play called, and kind of got overthrown. It was it Elliott who threw the ball or Keon or somebody threw it to Elliott, or somebody was open.
St. Francis.
Yeah. And it was and
well, it's a touchdown, walk-in touchdown. Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, no, that's and that means so it's not everything you think it is. It's sort of it's a little.
Well, that would
bit,
have been huge. You start off the game on national TV, first play of the game's an 80-yard touchdown.
Right.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So that we got to make plays and
execute.
We offensively, I think we have been making plays. We saw Elliott last week catch a long ball. Brooks has been. I mean, he's been on fire. Like, he's throwing some nice footballs. Like the one to Elliott this past week. I mean, it was perfect. I mean, Elliott had time to bobble it.
Right.
And catch it again. And then the week prior, or maybe it was 2 weeks prior, when he hit. No, I think it was a week prior against Riverview when he hit Keon on the wheel route. I mean, perfectly placed ball. He's really, really, really throwing some nice balls, and he's. We talked about it on the coaches show. He does a great job running.
And we did mention
decision running.
Yeah, one of his runs. You saw him. He was just kind of going lateral with the line of scrimmage, keeping the ball in the throwing position, and then once he made the break, 9 yards, first down.
Pick up 6 where it could have been just an incomplete pass or thrown out of bounds. Just making great decisions of when to do what and when to do it.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I think again, getting more comfortable with the offense, with his teammates, and then of course getting those reps in the games. It's a huge. I mean, you can see it from game to game in a lot of cases. We saw it with Ryan Brown last year. Ryan was he had some good games that he was sort of like kind of up and then when he hits the playoffs, he was seamless. He went really at it, which was great. So with that, again, 41-9 was the final score. A good win, and any win is at this point is good. You're just building that momentum towards what would be the playoffs. We didn't get a chance to talk about it too much earlier, but the playoff situation in regards to our region is quite a jumbled up potential mess of what do you want to call it?
It is a mess right now for sure. So there's 8 teams that get in.
Right.
4 automatic with being a district champ, and so where we're at right now, we know Venice, Gulf Coast, Palmetto, and Lehigh are in.
And that's the way they'll be ranked, is that?
No.
Okay.
No, that's the thing.
That's just it. Yeah.
So they'll be ranked according to your ranking. So right now, currently Lehigh's ranked number 11. So they wouldn't even be in the playoffs if they didn't win the district.
Right.
So they won a district, so they're automatically in. So that basically takes out number 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The 8th seed is gone. Right.
But they may move up. The rankings come out tomorrow, so they may move up. I don't think there's any way that we lose our 1 spot.
Okay.
Win or lose. I think we're 1 spot, and I think that stays the same. But the important thing is not right now. I was just assuming, or if we are lucky enough to make it to the regional championship and win that, then they reseed for for the semifinals.
And that's what happened last year. There was a reseeding
Right.
stuff.
They reseed for the semifinals. Now, when they reseed, if we don't get it done Friday night, and when they reseed and we end up being the 4, we're on the road.
Right.
So I'm trying to explain that to the players, like, hey, this might be the most important game of our regular season.
Right.
Because it could be the difference of us playing at home or playing on the road in the state semifinals. And you do not want to play on the road in the state semifinals. And if you're not Venice, you do not want to play at Venice in the state semifinals.
Well, the road that's been paved in the past has been the road that's gone through Venice High School. That's what you did.
Right.
You're playing that particular game at home.
You look at. I mean, how many? I mean, it's what, 6 times or 5 times St. Thomas.
Yeah.
One time at Venice.
And we beat them.
State champion. The other 4 on the road.
Right. And think about it, how that situation, not to beat an old dead horse like that, excuse me, but you looked at it, and we for years it was you took turns going back and forth, and all of a sudden they stopped it.
Yeah.
It's like,
and then,
it was our turn, and they're like, no, you don't get a turn.
And it was
again.
always like, you missed it by .003 this year. Oh, dang.
Yeah.
.003. God, we did kick that field goal. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Little
so
things
it's
like
just craziness. But
with the district too, there's a lot of local teams. We were talking about also that are vying for those 4 positions.
You forgot. I don't need to go back to it. You forgot the one year where we would have hosted, but they said, we're just going to pull from a hat and flip a coin for home and away. Oh, Venice. Oh, you're on the road the whole time. Really?
Yeah. Now it's that.
Gosh.
There was that.
You mean we got heads 6 times in a row? Yeah. Sorry, guys. Oh. Okay, I guess we're going to St. Thomas again.
Right. So that's sort of the stuff you look at. You're like, wow, this is it's some weird stuff. But yeah,
I need to take that guy's flipping the coin to Vegas with me.
Oh, you be a
winner.
winner.
Tell me black or white.
Tell me what it is. Right.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
Or not black or red. Yeah. It's craziness like that.
Yeah. But again, so there's a lot of teams jockeying locally for those last 4 spots.
Yeah.
Riverview, Sarasota.
Well, you got Palmetto, that's in, but you got Manatee. You got Manatee, Riverview, Sarasota,
Lakewood Ranch.
Manatee, Sarasota, Riverview, Lakewood Ranch. Those 4 all have a shot. They all have a shot to get in.
Yeah, they could all make it, or one could make it. That kind of a thing.
That would be crazy if all 4 of them made it.
That would. In some ways, I'd actually almost enjoy that, because that shows that the system that they put together actually works.
True.
Because the right teams make it.
This system does work. I mean,
Right.
they're going off. They go off max preps minus the score result.
Right.
So if that's the closest thing you can get to. I mean, and and it's the same. It's the same formula used for like Cal preps, and like you can put in today like Venice versus Clearwater Academy, and what's the score going to be, and then you look at the score and like, oh, I don't know about that, and then you take a screenshot of it, and then you look at the score after the game, you're like, what?
Pretty close.
How'd they know that?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Pretty close.
They knew we were going to miss extra point.
Yeah.
It's so many times it's right on there. Just like the guy, Joe Pinko.
Yeah.
That was nuts.
It was scary.
Yeah, it was nuts.
The guy would get it. You're like, and it's like, how does he know that? Does he watch that much film, or is he just basing it on?
No, it's a formula.
Yeah.
And it's a similar formula to what Max Preps use. So we'd be late in the game sometimes, and Hire would say, "Hey, it's right on Pinko right now. All right, second offense up. Let's keep it up. Let's keep him going."
Yeah,
because he liked us.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
He definitely liked us. So, but again, it's gonna be a wild Friday with a lot of stuff that's gonna happen on the weekends when they announce stuff. I know we crunch numbers after games. I'm sure
we
everybody
can't
else.
do it. We can't do it.
Yeah.
We don't know the formula.
Well,
this is a secret.
Oh, so you don't.
No one knows the formula.
So
there's no way you can figure it out.
So it's going to be a big surprise.
You could guess like, oh well, they lost. They may be here, and they've won. They may be here, but there's no way to figure this out. There's no. The formula is it's locked away at what's Fort Knox. the little computer chips in one of the cells there, and it's locked away.
Buried in McDill somewhere.
If someone gets it, then they could open up Max Preps. they can start a new one.
Right.
John
right.
Preps.
Yeah, here it is. I got all the answers.
Peacock's Preps. You know, we just make our own.
Don't even worry about it. I'll show you who's going to win and how they're going to win, and here's the season played out for you.
Exactly.
So again, it'll be a fun night. This week, Clearwater Academy International comes in, like you said, and they're a version of the pay-to-play IMG format that we see becoming more and more popular in the country, and they're doing sort of some specific things as well. Kind
of different. I mean, kind of the same, kind of different. I think IMG's main thing is they're going to go after the best player at every position and try to have the top of the top of the top of a high school football team. And I think what Clearwater Academy's deal is somehow they're intertwined some way with Canada. So they got a bunch of players from Canada which don't get the recognition that they should in Canada.
Right. So
they open this school in Clearwater, and they get the majority of their players from Canada, not just one area in Canada, but all over Canada. And like you talked about, I mean, it's a big part of their culture, football.
I think they're playing football longer in Canada than we play in the United States.
Yeah, so they're getting, these kids are coming down, they're paying money, they're staying in a dorm, they're getting their education, all for the aspect of just getting noticed in football.
Yeah, and like I said, and I think it's great that they get an opportunity to do that, and anybody who can sort of advance their educational potential and even their athletic potential at a school that's sort of going to give them a leg up to get looked at. Yeah. I think it does.
Now they don't have a crowd. Nobody comes because they're all in Canada.
Right.
So when me and Coach Hunter went to the Rearview Clearwater Academy game, and we're the only people in the stands, so we heard everything going on in the huddle, and they heard everything we were talking about too.
Right.
So
they could hear you.
So I mean, we might as well just sat down there with them.
Well, that's a good bridge to say. Make sure you watch, or maybe the Canadian folks can watch our live stream this week.
I think we had to agree to let them live stream. And it's in the contract. Yeah, we had to agree to let them do it. So they do it every week. So I was going to say, you got to figure they want to watch, even though they're not here. And they, you know what, their live stream is probably the second. I don't know. Everyone gets mad when I talk about.
Yeah, the other live stream.
I think they're ranked second right now in live streaming.
I gotcha.
Well, Tiger Vision's gone, so I guess it's all right. They're ranked second. Yeah, they got the poll came out last week. They're the second best live stream in the state. But they do a nice job of theirs, but not anywhere like ours.
Gotcha. Well, anyway, our fans, our folks, tune in to our live stream. Again, normally we start on Facebook Live. Myself and Josh Grant do a little 15-minute pregame, and then we bridge into the actual pay-per-view part of it. The link will be always on our website, VeniceIndianFootball.org. Go there and you can click on, and you'll get right to Vibrant Aspect Media, and you'll be able to get in there and see our live stream. And if not, we always want you to be at the game, because that's the part we want the most. We want that crowd getting fired up.
That's the most important thing. I mean, we do our live stream for people out of town and people that just can't make it. But we want you to come at the game.
One quick thing before we take our first break, or our break for tonight, I should say. Talk about the slow start on first quarter. We still haven't figured out a way how to get that burst coming out for the third quarter when there's like.
I thought we did this week.
We did okay.
We didn't go down and score.
Well, I'm saying, but I'm talking about the atmosphere. Let's say.
I thought they played this week. The band played.
Oh,
he told me he was, but I'll have to ask him again.
Yeah, but we love that. Everybody needs to get out there, and we need to fire everybody up.
Yeah.
The third quarter, because that's a big deal coming out for the third quarter, especially if you're getting the ball. You want it to be. You want to get that blood flowing and getting pumped up, because it's time to get that game cranking. So anyway, look forward to seeing everybody, or you guys watching on Friday night. With that, we'll take our break for tonight. 3 minutes, we'll be back, and we'll do our sponsor spotlight. So we'll do that when we get back as well. See you here in 3 minutes.
Dodge Ram and Venice High Football have in common?
The perfect team and the perfect lineup.
Douglas Jeep Chrysler Dodge Ram will always go the extra yard so you can score big with the area's best selection and savings. So if you're looking for a championship vehicle lineup
And a dealership that tackles the competition.
visit Douglas Jeep Chrysler Dodge Ram in Venice.
And if you're looking for a championship football lineup, check out the Venice High Football team.
Who supports Venice High Football?
Douglas does.
And welcome back to our Tuesday night podcast here from our sponsor spotlight, Bogies.
Bogies is sponsor spotlight.
Bogies is a sponsor spotlight tonight,
Okay.
and deservedly so. I mean, honestly, they've become a sort of a fixture and/or almost a spot to come to for before and after Venice High School football games, and a lot of the other athletics on campus. They do a nice job. They got a good atmosphere here, plenty of TVs, food's good. So, and one thing they do, they have parking that's always available as well. So you can find parking spaces even when it's super crowded. You can get around here and find a spot.
Yeah, I mean,
somewhere.
after Friday nights after the game, it's shoulder to shoulder in here. Everybody's ordering food. I can't come. I mean, I come here at shoulder to shoulder. I won't know who's throwing beer on me.
Right.
I come on
You got to
Tuesday
sit with your
nights.
back to the corner.
I come on Tuesday night. I can see who's throwing beer on me.
Right. But and then they'll accommodate big parties those nights too. They get some 12, 14, 18 tops.
They do.
So-
Listen now. They do have the best wings here.
You do like the wings.
They
Yes.
do. They have the
Yeah.
best wings in town. I mean, I don't know who would compete with that, but I think they have the best wings in town. I probably got a little spoiled of them because they've been doing them the same way, very good for a long time.
Right, and you I would say that I would rank you as a wing connoisseur.
Yes, for sure.
So
And-
you definitely
and
know your
I
sauces.
always go the wing, the flappers.
Yes.
Flappers only, extra crispy, and I get my sauce on the side. And I'll tell you, I switched sauces the last couple of months.
Oh, what'd you go with?
The bogey sauce.
Oh, okay. I'd like
It's
bogey
really
sauce.
good.
Yeah, it's a little spicy.
Yeah,
but
it's really good.
No, and yeah, so it's definitely worth your while to come by. Also, surprisingly, because a lot of times they have really good pizza too.
Oh, they do have good pizza.
They have
good,
really
good
good
crust.
pizza.
Yeah,
Yeah, some calzones.
pizza and wings are unbelievable. Really
Yeah.
good.
So come on down to Bogies, support them. They're here hosting us with our coaches show and our podcast every Tuesday night. So we do appreciate everything they're doing for us.
And don't you guys play the game? Play the game after here on Friday night?
the replay? No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, he's playing it now. Oh, you were? Well, you're not playing it now. Well, he was playing it earlier.
He was playing around with.
Maybe we could play it on Tuesday. Replay on Tuesdays. No, we can't do that either. All right, never mind.
With that, we'll
Forgot I said
transition. With that, we'll transition to what we were talking about a little earlier, going back to Clearwater Academy International. Talk about specific players for that game. I know you said they have two offensive linemen that are Division I prospects, and/or they have scholarship offers. Some guys that are going to be really pop off the screen or pop off when you see that these are some really good athletes.
Yeah, the two linemen, the two tackles. One's committed, not offer. Just everybody's
Right.
offered.
Right.
I mean, so one's offered to Florida State, and one's committed to Florida State, and one's committed to ODU, where our man Hayden Wolf is at.
Yes.
They have I don't know, their quarterback's committed somewhere too.
Okay.
And I want to say it's like a UCF or something like that. But
I think I saw that earlier in the year. It might be UCF. It might be UCF.
He's really good. I mean, he throws a nice ball, a nice deep ball. You'll just have to see it. I mean, he was one of the. We were there early, watching the Riverview game there, and just watching him warm up. Just very impressive of how he could spin it. And just everything's a tightly thrown ball, and it was on the money. And they got a dynamic receiver. And I think his number's 5. But he is a really, really good receiver that they get the ball. They force the ball to him, and he makes play after play. I mean, he makes plays on the ball, and So that's going to be a nice matchup to watch him and Elliott.
Yeah, and again, I do like the idea that playing this team gives you a really, really nice prep going towards the playoffs.
Yep.
I mean, there's not going to be they're going to challenge you. They're going to challenge you athletically. They're going to challenge you with schemes and everything else. So I think that really helps get everybody sort of ramped up and amped up to get into the playoffs and be prepared for that first game, because you want to start with a good push.
I've been telling the guys this week, this is, other than it being our next game, this game is so important to where with the playoff picture.
Right.
Because like I explained, they're going to reseed after the region championship, and if we're lucky enough to be there and win that, then they're going to reseed, and playing home round 4 is going to be huge for us.
Yeah. Oh,
huge.
Absolutely. It's just like I said, it just makes everything sort of your potential to keep
everyone
going.
feels better at home. I mean, everybody get I get to take a nap. Everyone has their routine at home. Now when you go on the road, like, the routine's kind of messed up. You got to get in a bus, and your back hurts.
And maybe this year a little bit more with the disruption of the season regarding the hurricane and everything else, would be kind of nice to sort of settle in at home for a little bit and not have to be, because it was a disruption. I mean, it wasn't just like you were off from school and you weren't dealing with anything. You were doing a lot of stuff. All the kids were. Everybody.
Yeah, it wasn't like COVID.
No, this was like you had no power. You had no this. The tree was down in the front yard. The roof was torn off. That just kind of stuff that you just don't want to deal with at any time, especially when you're in the midst of school, football, everything else you're trying to do.
COVID was like a 7-month summer.
It was. Yeah,
we got to go on a boat every day.
It was different. Yeah. It was
great,
but it
not
was
great that people were getting sick.
It was long. It was a long deal. Yeah, it just kind of kept going. Where this is sort of like, just a punch in the mouth.
Right.
And trying to figure it out from there. So that's an interesting concept for our season. And not everybody else has had that. I mean, hurricanes they're not the whole state. There's a lot of people were affected, but there's parts of the state that have no. They can't even relate to what us on the West Coast, especially to our neighbors to the South. I give them a lot of credit. They've rebounded.
They're back up and playing like nothing happened.
They rebounded it was as quick as anybody. Really impressive to see that to see that happen. I'm glad that they didn't lose everything. I mean, a lot of tragedy down there, but at least they got themselves back on track and kind of make as normal a year out of it as they possibly could.
Right.
Good schools down there too. We got a couple of them that are going to be in our region, and we've seen them before. And they have some good teams that are going to make some headway in the playoffs. That down there especially. So, anyway, kind of moving away. Let's talk about our picks for this week.
All right. So
last week, yeah.
I mean, we've been on last 2 weeks. We're 4-6. We're losing.
Yeah, and you know what? It seems as though. My feeling is that I've had a little bit of a hard time believing certain teams are as good as they are. And I'll name one of them right now, Tennessee. I've been very skeptical about them this year. I didn't think they were going to be as physical as they needed to be to win some of these games. But, my gosh, to beat Alabama was impressive. But then to come out last week and just stomp Kentucky. Because Kentucky's going to play you physical.
Well, sometimes that getting the win versus a team like that, and sometimes it's good to give you some confidence.
Play looser.
Yeah, just have a little confidence. Confidence of what we're doing and how we're doing it. And now, but sometimes it's going to bite you.
And now every week there's usually a game of the year, but this might be the game of the year.
Speaking of that, my first pick is Tennessee +8 over Georgia.
Okay.
+8.
It's a lot.
And it could go either way. They're a tempo team, so you know how the tempo teams are because we're one of them.
Right.
So
and I'll tell you this
if things get ugly, it could be opposite.
Georgia has not, but overall have had very sporadic success. What they do comes in bunches. Okay.
Yep.
Even with Florida, they had Florida clearly beat, and then came out and just got in. Bennett threw a couple interceptions, put Florida in a position to actually have the ball in their hand. down 8, and then Georgia turned it back on again. I don't think you can do that with Tennessee. I think the thing at this game is going to be interesting. I think Tennessee, and I could be, I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think Tennessee's going to come out and put 25, 30, 35 points on Georgia. So it means Georgia's got to score, and they got to stay. They can't get complacent.
Well, Georgia can.
Yeah, although they can, exactly.
But
they Tennessee seems like they played was it Kent State this year, one of a MAC team. They were down in the first half.
I think Georgia wins. I just don't think they win by 8.
No, I don't
think it's like 3 to 5.
I think 8's is a lot. Is a lot. Yeah, so I agree with that, definitely.
My next one is Alabama minus 13 over LSU.
Gosh, that's another team I can't figure out because
Let me tell you why.
So
So
bad.
LSU is very inconsistent.
Yeah.
Alabama's ranked number 6 right now, and they got to have some.
Yeah, they can't.
They got
to
to blow some people out to get their ranking up.
the beauty contest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be. And so I will agree with you there too. Because what team is what LSU team's going to show up? I don't know. I really don't.
And then I got Notre Dame plus 3.5 over Clemson.
Okay.
Someone's got to lose.
Right.
I mean, we have Clemson undefeated. We got you got TCU undefeated.
So Tennessee and Georgia, one of those guys lose for sure. And you're right. There's some undefeated teams that somebody
got to
will
lose.
Yeah.
So and then we got I got Miami plus 7.5 over FSU.
Okay.
I just think it's too much. It's a rival game.
Is it at Miami?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you this. Miami, to me, is the one team that I thought of with the new coach, Cristobal. I thought they would be a team on the rise. I think
they are.
But they've had some really sort of.
I know,
stinkers.
but I think they're on the rise. I think they are.
And
I think next year you're going to be like, okay.
And I will say this: Florida State is that what you see is what you get. You get Jordan Travis trying to make plays. I think they're just a barely above average overall team, and they play like it. And so Miami has a higher upside, I think, with what they're doing right now. But I will say yes to your pick as well on that one.
And then my last one is UCLA minus 11 over Arizona State. I watched UCLA this week, and they're explosive. Their quarterback's tough.
And Arizona State's in a little bit of disarray right now.
Yeah, fired their coach.
Manners, they fired Herm Edwards. That's actually surprising. It's only 11 to me.
Yeah,
I thought that could be a 20-point spread because if you watch the quarterback from UCLA, he is talented. He's athletic. He's going to make plays. If UCLA gets going, and everybody forgets he was the big hire 4 years ago, but Chip Kelly he's got his guys there now.
Yeah.
Every coach says wait till he gets his guys. He's got his guys.
Yep.
There's no waiting more. And what he's doing is he's that offense that he ran at Oregon when it was humming, you couldn't stop it. And I think he's very close to having that similar situation with UCLA.
No, they were explosive. They looked really good this last week, and I watched them. And I think they're only going to get better. And their quarterback's dynamic.
With the right coach, if he's the right coach for UCLA, which I think right now he is, it gives somebody to look and say, well, we gave him enough time to put it together, and now we're reaping the benefits from it.
Yeah.
The only thing that happens is in those situations, when you give a guy time and he makes it happen, he goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
And you're like,
bigger paycheck.
Yeah. But again, UCLA as a program, though, they're every bit that they should be a power. They should be a national power.
Let me ask you this. So those are our picks. Those are, by the way, they're all guaranteed. So take it or leave it. It's up to you. The next thing, here's a question. So Georgia and Tennessee play. All right. Let's say Tennessee beats Georgia.
Okay.
All right. So Georgia's over here. And let's say then Alabama and Tennessee play in the SEC championship.
And Tennessee loses.
And Alabama beats Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got 3 one-loss SEC schools. You got to assume Alabama gets in because they just won the SEC.
Right.
Automatic.
That's a done deal at that point.
And they should have beat Tennessee the first time.
Right.
But they had some I still don't know what the flag was. I mean, they had an interception. They're on the 40-yard line, running it the other way. The game's over, and they're throwing flags.
Right. I'll tell you this: if that's how it plays out, I would probably tell you.
So who gets in, Tennessee or Georgia?
I think if Tennessee beats Georgia and then loses to Alabama, I think Tennessee gets back in.
Even though Georgia's run the table, well, not run the table. Alabama started one, but so Georgia's been number one the whole time. They lose to Tennessee overtime.
But it's good, and because Tennessee and Georgia play almost the same schedule because they're playing from the SEC East.
Right.
They got a lot of the same stuff. They'll play the toughest teams in the conference. Maybe Georgia's. I don't know. Maybe their schedule's a little bit less.
No, I mean, it's asking.
Tennessee's played LSU.
So they play each other. It goes, and let's just say it ends like the Alabama game. Tennessee kicks a 40-yard field goal to win it with time expiring. All right, so Georgia's out. And then they go to play Alabama. Alabama rips Tennessee a new one.
Right.
You know, it's the second time playing. They win by 20.
Right.
Who gets in?
Again,
you're going to put Georgia in, but Tennessee just beat them.
That's the formula. Is the formula not the? I look at it from the perspective of I would put Tennessee in because they beat Georgia. They got to the championship and lost the championship. I think they didn't make it there, and that's just a shakeout. Now, in the past, it's been where the guys were not playing in the SEC championship and kind of backdooring their way back in, but never has it been where they've all been.
All
as
I'm saying
put
is
together.
you got 3 teams there. If that's the scenario, all right, let's do this scenario.
How about this? Neither one of them make it. Alabama goes, and the other two make because Ohio State's undefeated, Clemson's undefeated.
Well, hold on.
Let's
do this scenario. So let's say Tennessee, Georgia play. Georgia kicks the last-second field goal and beats Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama, Georgia, SEC championship. Alabama wins by 14 against Georgia. Who's in?
Yeah, it's like I said.
Who's in?
Again, I would say Georgia would be in. That's how I would feel about it.
Put Georgia in over Tennessee?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So whoever gets to that conference championship.
All right, so who's the other one?
As far as
all right, so let's just say we got 2 SEC teams. One of those scenarios plays out.
Right.
All right, so
the Michigan-Ohio State game wins. They
so
go.
The winner of that goes.
Right.
All right, so that's 3.
Right, and then you have
Yeah,
Clemson.
TCU's undefeated. Clemson's going to lose this week. Remember, it's one of our picks.
All right,
We just guaranteed it.
So TCU's undefeated, but again, that's going to be their schedule. But I think it's hard. It's going to be hard because they play in the Big 12. They got to get something.
That's what I'm asking you. So you're going to put TCU in over Georgia?
Yeah, I think you.
But we know that Georgia would roll them.
Right. But again, that's and therein lies the reason why they need to have a 12-team playoff situation.
But do you think? I think they put 3 teams in.
It would be difficult because I don't. If that happened, well, okay. Here's the bright spot to that. If that happened next year, they'd have the 12-team playoff because they would scream.
Well, they can't.
Murder. You
can't do that because you got to have a meeting about having that, and then you got to have another meeting about a meeting. And then
it's amazing when
you got to have like 16 meetings before you even have a meeting about it.
It's amazing how things get done when all of a sudden, you've shut out half the population of the United States. Their team can't make it because the SEC had 3 good teams this year. You know what I mean? And they all played each other.
But I mean, honestly, if Clemson gets beat by Notre Dame.
Well, here's another scenario.
Ohio State's going to beat Michigan.
Well, let's say this. Let's say Ohio State loses to Michigan.
Michigan's in.
All right, but Ohio State's they're gonna have a resume every bit as pretty as Tennessee and Georgia and everybody else.
Really?
I mean, as far as how they win games, they're going to be in that. Yeah, they're going to be in that mix.
That's why I think Ohio State's going to beat Michigan. Okay, but you never know. It's a rivalry game. So Ohio State. Let's say Ohio State beats Michigan handedly.
Yeah.
21 points.
Then the Michigan's done.
Michigan's done.
Yeah.
TCU remains undefeated.
Right.
One of those scenarios comes in, and you got 3 1-loss teams in the SEC. TCU's out.
Yeah, I would probably say that's what would happen.
And if they're not out, let's just say they're not out, and so TCU ends up lining up against Tennessee.
Yeah.
And Tennessee beats them 56 to 20.
It happens a lot. Well, you think, they're in, they deserve it, and then the next thing you know, it's like, well, they didn't deserve to be there. I mean, Notre Dame went to the BCS the one year and against Alabama, and they shouldn't have been on the field with them. They got. Well,
that's the rule, the Notre Dame rule. They only have 1 loss to get in.
They're allowed
because everybody wants to watch Notre Dame.
Right. No doubt. No, so but it does play out to be an interesting situation. There's a lot
to talk about.
St. Thomas.
I think that's why they wear the same helmets.
They're very similar.
Hey, if you get in the playoffs, we're going to make it. You got to go there.
It's a coin toss.
You got to go there. Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors this
Yeah.
year. You have the world champion rock, paper, scissors person. Anyway, so let me get back to what we're talking about for the Indians. Again, 7:30 Friday night, Powell Davis Stadium. Last home regular season game. Senior night. Always a big night in Venice.
Senior night, yes.
So it's a great opportunity for the kids to get recognized by all the fans, and their parents get to walk in the field, and Coach Peacock can shake everybody's hand, and it's a really nice thing, and recognize the football team, the band, and the cheerleaders. And I think it's always been a good tradition.
The band and cheerleaders go at halftime.
Yes. Yeah. So So that's going to be how that works, and I think probably the band would play their normal set from that at halftime, but at the end of the game. That's sort of similar to the homecoming scenario from last week. But again, come on out. Weather should be great. It's time to get ramped up because we need everybody getting in. Fans need to get in good shape. They need to get themselves ready to go because we're going to have some home games coming up in the playoffs. So let's make sure that they're there and they're doing all the right stuff. So, Coach, to wrap it up tonight, there's a lot of stuff that's going to go on locally with the teams vying for position to get in the playoffs. By next week, we'll know where everything lays out and plays out, and we'll see who didn't get in and who maybe got a point or two here and there where they didn't make it, and then we'll see about this SEC thing if Tennessee and Georgia play out.
The official they're gonna have a show on YouTube at 11 a.m. Sunday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So they're making a production out of it. That's not a bad idea, huh?
I won't be there. I'm not gonna watch it. I'll go get my car washed.
Oh, that's right. That's your.
Yeah.
That's the once a day
Lightning.
or once a week.
Well, Well, Sunday I go twice. When I wake up and then I go before I go to bed. Just
all the same price. Yeah. I'm quoting you with that. So that's it's a good deal. Definitely a good deal. With that, thank you guys for joining us tonight on our podcast from our sponsor spotlight, Bogies. Again, thank them for everything they do for us, and thank you guys for watching. We'll see you Friday night at Powell Davis Stadium, or if not, tune into the live stream. You'll get the link on our webpage at VeniceIndianFootball.org. Go ahead and do that and check our live stream out. Me and Josh Grant doing the call in that game. Thanks again, Coach. Thank you. We'll see you here next week on our Tuesday night podcast.